Everyone, welcome back to Global Education Zone, and this is the biology channel. And today I'll be taking you classification of plants. Now, today in classification of plants, we'll be talking about classification based on. We're talking about botanical classification. We're talking about agricultural classification. And then lastly, we're talking about what? Classification based on life cycle. Life cycle classification. Now, in botanical classification, we classify plants as Thalophytes. We classify plants as Trichophytes. We also classify them lastly as Bryophytes. Now, Thalophytes are kind of like thalo. The word thalo means flat. So Thalophytes are basically they are mini plants. They are small in nature. They are small plants in nature, and characteristically, Thalophytes have a tendency to stay near water. They are microscopic. Thalopids include plants like GlEDUzownë. GlEDUzownë is a microscopical organism. So we are talking about Thalophytes. And these Thalophytes, an example is GlEDUzownë. So GlEDUzownë is something like this. Something is something like this. So GlEDUzownë has two flagella. Then it has a membrane. It has a cup-like chloroplast, a cup-shaped chloroplast. This is chloroplast. This is the paranoid. This is the nucleus, the nuclear material, and this is at the blepharoplast. This is the eye spot. So now these are the flagellum. This flagellum. This is the eye spots. This is the blepharoplast. This is the nucleus. This is the paranoid. And this is the cell wall, outer membrane. And this is cytoplasm, cytoplasmic material. So those are the major parts of a Thalophyte, and this Thalophyte is called this Thalophyte is GlEDUzownë. CHLEMYDOMONAS. This GlEDUzownë. And explanation about the structures: the flagellum is for the motion of the GlEDUzownë. The blepharoplast, they are also helping the plants. They're helping the plant to carry out some functions. The eye spot helps it to receive light rays. The cytoplasm helps it to transfer materials for its living. The nucleus contains the genetic material for reproduction and other vital plant functions. The paranoids are structures which enable it in digestion and storing of food. The cell wall is the structure that provides support for the plant, and then the cytoplasm is cup-like. So GlEDUzownë has a cup-like cytoplasm, and that helps it to trap light and use it to manufacture food. So GlEDUzownë is an autotroph, and it's a good example of a Thalophyte. Next, we'll talk about Bryophytes. And before that, we'll talk about Thalophytes, right? Thalophytes, they are unicellular in nature. Most of them are unicellular and they are microscopic. Like GlEDUzownë, like Spirogyra and Volvox. Those three are all examples of Thalophytes. And they are simple aquatic animals. I mentioned earlier that they tend to live near water, right? So they are simple aquatic animals. Then we also have cellular cell wall. Like look at this. A Chlamydomonas has the same wall, a typical Thalophite. It has they are mainly autotrophic. It has cytoplasm because it is autotrophic. It feeds in autotrophic mode of nutrition. Then we also have they have no specialized reproductive organs. They are filamentous, which means that they exist in filaments. They don't exist in colonies. Example of that is algae. Algae are mainly filamentous, and algae are autotrophic. Algae is a type of Thallophytes. Those algae are filamentous. Though there are Thallophytes that are also they exist in colonies, like volvox. Volvox exist in colonies. Yeah, that's me. So volvox exist in colonies, and we also have that most of them are single free living organisms, but they can also exist as filaments and colonies. So those free organisms, when they exist free, examples of that is Chlamydomonas. When they exist as colonies, example of that is volvox. When they exist as filaments, example of that is Spirogyra. So those are Thallophytes. Then next we talk about Barophytes. Barophytes is another type of classification where they consist of things like mosses and liverworts. They are complex multicellular and they are green. Their cells are differentiated into tissues, and they have no true root, stem, and leaves. Example of Barophyte is moss. If you want to draw a moss, draw something like this. These are the moss looks. Moss looks like a plant, but it does not have true leaves. These leaves are fake leaves. So this is a moss, and most of the time, these leaf structures they are thick and they are tiny, and it's often live on top of other plants. So they look like leaves, but they are fake leaves. So anytime you see in your exam whether these have leaves, no, they don't have leaves. They are fake leaves. So then it has a structure by which it attaches to the plant. It's going to its host, attached to its host. So you can often see them on things like this is a moss, MOSS. You can often see them as on top of oil palm plants, on different plants. So they live on other plants mostly, and they have rhizoids, they have stalks, they have leaves. These are their fake leaves. They have capsules. This is the capsule, and this capsule contains the spores. When this capsule explodes, when this capsule explodes, it releases spores. So these spores, when they land, they grow on other plants or on the soil. Now those are Barophytes. Then we also have liverworts. So some are terrestrial, some are aquatic. Next we talk about Thrassophytes. So Thrassophytes are divided into pteridophytes and spermatophytes. So pteridophytes, they are mostly ferns, while spermatophytes, they are mostly the classification under which our day-to-day plants are classified. The pteridophytes, they are non-seed producing, and they also reproduce by spores. So they are ferns, they are like ferns, and they are water loving. They love living in water. So they don't have seeds, they don't produce seeds, but they produce by spores. So that's pteridophytes. But spermatophytes, they mostly produce by seeds, and they are divided into gymnosperms and angiosperms. So there's a difference between spermatophytes and barophytes. Spermatophytes, they have well-developed vascular system, but barophytes, their vascular bundles are not developed. Then we also have stems. Stems are present in pteridophytes, in spermatophytes, but in barophytes, stems are absent. We also have leaves. Spermatophytes have leaves, like our example of spermatophytes are our regular maize plant, beans plant. They have leaves, but barophytes, they have false leaf. They don't have leaf, but they have leaf-like structures. Then we have the fact that they reproduce by flowers, spermatophytes, but barophytes, they reproduce by spores. Then lastly, spermatophytes have well-developed root system, while barophytes have no well-developed root system. Let's move on.